Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. Let's get set up here. And Brian, how's it going? Unmute or mute everyone. Get everyone muted. Can you hear me all right? All right, great. Well, we got people logging on already in the chat. Yep. All right. Josh, thanks. We're gonna get started here in a second, and everything's set up for you guys. We got a great presentation for you today. We're talking about the new SEO formula for 2019. There's been a lot of things that have changed over the past years in online marketing, and we're going to kind of dive into that and see what's new for this year. So we appreciate everyone joining us. We'll get started here in just a second. This is part of our 2019 series, and so we're going to have an ongoing webinar series. Today we're really going to dive into SEO, and we want to make this an interactive conversation. So if anybody has questions, feel free to jump in the chat. I'll be manning the chat a lot while Brian's doing some of the presentations, and we want to make sure that we're getting your guys' questions answered in regards to SEO in 2019, and that this is an interactive conversation. Now, if you've read our book, or if you have looked on our website and researched some of our materials, you know that we are not about only SEO. SEO is an extremely important part of what we do, but we have a 4-pillar marketing system, which includes pay-per-click marketing, local SEO, organic SEO, and remarketing. And we feel that that's all important, but we want to make sure that everyone knows that SEO is still an extremely important part of what we do today. And that's what we're going to go into today. So we really would like your attention in doing this. If you could, turn off your cell phones and, turn off Facebook and kind of focus your attention here, because if you're a business owner and you're serious about getting results, in the next 60 minutes or so on this presentation, it could be a game changer for you, really. And you could really take your business to the next level. So we're going to start by, answering, what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about the latest updates to the Google algorithm. There's been some changes over the last year, some big changes that were made. We're going to talk about the things that you have to put in place, how things that you have put in place in the past may be hurting you today. So how we need to make those slight changes, and then how to optimize your website using the new SEO formula. So if you haven't really been exposed to us much in the past, I'm Jim Aline, the co-founder of Roofer Marketers. Brian Niebler, the other co-founder of Roofer Marketers, is on the line. He'll be doing some presenting here in a second. And we're the authors of Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors. We published the book back in October. We're also members of the National Roofing Contractors Association, and we published numerous guides on marketing for the roofing industry. And we're widely accepted as a premier expert in the field in the SEO and digital marketing for the roofing industry. And we work with roofing companies all across the United States. And so we have a lot of experience in doing this. So we have, we're really able to give you some good advice. And we only work with roofing businesses, right? So we do this day in and day out only for roofing businesses. And that's how, we're going to be able to provide you with some really, really good insight specifically for your business, not just in general. And so, really what we're going to talk about today is, does SEO still matter? And Brian, if you want to chime in here, and let's talk about this. Does SEO still matter? Brian manages the fulfillment side of our business, so he's in this day to day. So what do you think? Does SEO still matter?
Well, that's a great question, Jim. How's it going, everyone? So yeah, the question is, does SEO still matter in 2019? The Google algorithm it's always changing. The search results are always changing. There's, if you're going on the search results these days, you're seeing tons of Google ads at the top, up to 4 of them at a time. Some of you guys in your cities might even see those Google local ads now that are appearing. Google just rolled those out. So there's just more and more space being taken up by these paid ads. So a lot of people are questioning, is it even worth working on? And I'll just show you an example for, go down to the next slide if we can. So roofers in Dallas, Texas, you just take a look at this particular search result. Look at how many ads are up at the top. It just takes up so much real estate, especially if you're on like a mobile phone. That's a lot of scrolling to get down to the organic search results. And so again, a lot of people are questioning. Jim and I have sat in a bunch of meetings, with our team, and then also with other contractors and other businesses in the area. And a lot of them are even questioning, is it even worth it to focus on SEO anymore? Should we just be focusing on paid search? Is there return on investment even there? And so before we even decided, hey, maybe we should only focus on paid search, or maybe we should agree with them on that, we need to revisit those assumptions. We work with a lot of roofing contractors ourselves. We have access to a lot of Google Analytics accounts, to a lot of call tracking accounts. We really just wanted to see if this is actually true, especially in 2019. And so really what we found is this. Sorry, sometimes a little slow switching the screens here. 71% of all clicks to search results are actually going to the organic search results. So that's those top 3 in the map pack, and then also the top 10 search results below that. And to break this down even further, 65 or 67% of all of the clicks are going to those first 5 listings that you're actually seeing on the page right there. So the top three in the map pack, and then the top 2 below that. So that is a good chunk of real estate that's getting taken up by the organic search results, and a lot of people are actually clicking on that portion. So, that said, yes, SEO definitely matters in 2019. Should you do paid ads? Definitely. As Jim stated earlier, that's one of our big parts of our system altogether. We do the SEO, we do the paid ads, and the retargeting. You should definitely do paid ads and potentially those local ads, but you just cannot sleep on SEO in 2019 as much as other people might be telling you that. A number of our clients' business comes from SEO. It's just not something that you should sleep on. So that said, I'm just going to ask a quick question, and Jim, maybe you can monitor the chat box for me on this one. Let me ask you this: if you guys, if you're, say you had like a plumbing leak or something in your home, and you had to go onto Google and type in, find me a plumber real quick near me. If you're searching for a home service like that, and you pull up the Google search results, whether it be on your phone or on your desktop computer, what are you guys clicking on? Are you clicking on the ads, or are you the people that scroll down to the maps or the organic search results? I'm just curious what other people are saying on this.
Now let's see Dan, Dave, Jim, Josh, what do you think? Jim Rogers, he goes down to organic, so skips over the ads, and that's, that if anyone else wants to chime in, that's what we find too, is that people really skip, that really, even statistically, only 14% of people click on the ads. So, we want to emphasize that this SEO is really, Josh said it depends. What do you think, Josh? Depends on what you're looking for. What do you think there? I know personally, I like to go to the map section. I like the reviews. I think that's very dependent on for my searches. Josh too, I think he just agreed with me on that. So yeah, SEO definitely still matters, and that's kind of the point of today's presentation.
Yep, definitely, and that's what we're seeing too. So that was just interesting to get everyone's perspective. So let's move on here. This is a quick screenshot. We'll come back to this a little later in the presentation, but this is one of our clients and what they got for call volume for 1 month. And it's broken down by the type of sources of where the calls came from. And you can just see quick here, you got the Google My Business, the Google Ads, Google Organic and ad extension. There's a good amount of calls coming from the paid ads and ad extensions, but the majority of their business comes from the organic search results, from that Google My Business, Google Organic, almost like 180 calls of the 247 coming from organic SEO. So again, it's definitely a big part of a lot of our clients' businesses, a lot of roofing contractors' businesses that are doing well with SEO. So again, can't rely on paid search alone. We love paid search, but you need SEO to supplement. So let's move on to the next, the kind of the three biggest changes that we're kind of seeing and that need to be done for your business online in order to help with the SEO in 2019. First, detailed and well-written content on each and every one of your pages really matters. We're seeing this more and more. Second, low quality, spammy links pointed back to your website. You used to be able to get away with it, and we'll go into this a little more detail, but these days it's just going to crush your chances of getting ranked. We see this happen all the time. And then third, especially for Google Maps, you need to have a real physical office in the actual city that you want to rank in on Google Maps. So start with point number one, detailed and well-written content does matter. When we say this, every service that you offer needs to have a page for itself. So when I say, if you're a roofing company and you do roofing, but you also do siding, maybe you do gutters, installation, stuff like that, you need to have a well-built, well-written page for roofing, siding, gutters, targeting that page and the geographic area that you're in. But then you also need to break it down even further. Think about the types of services the type of roofing services that you provide, whether it be, roof replacement, installation, roof repair, emergency roof repair, roof leaks, roof damage. Then you go into the types of roofs. You can do metal, cedar, tile, and you can break it down even more granular than that, corrugated metal, everything. Any type of service that you have, you need to have a page of content about that service. And then when I say a page of content, I'm talking about, what the service is, what are the benefits of that service, the costs, pictures of maybe some of the work that you've done, videos, anything you can to make that a well-written page, because that's what's going to help you rank when it comes to those individual service pages. Sorry. Most roofing companies do serve that, what we've seen, in a 25 to 50 mile radius. So you should have pages targeting each of these cities, but you need to make those pages unique. And when I say unique, you can have pretty similar content, but you should have something different on each of the pages. We like to kind of spice that up with different reviews on the pages, images. You could do a video targeting that area. And not only could you just do the cities in those radiuses, but we also see you having a better chance of ranking if you do like individual neighborhoods. So, for instance, in Minneapolis here, we have a bunch of little neighborhoods all around the Minneapolis area. I live in a neighborhood called like Waite Park. So if you targeted like Waite Park roofing, that's one that just nobody is targeting. But there's people that type that stuff in because they want the local roofing company. So just start to think about that sort of stuff when it comes to your content. And well-written copy does matter. So I'm not just talking about, throw a bunch of copy on the page. It needs to be copy that's going to sell your product and your services. So, and we'll talk about this later, it's going to be a lot of SEO these days is about user optimization, what people are actually doing on the page. You need to make sure that when people land on that service page, they're not immediately going to click that back button on their browser and go back to the search results. Google hates that. So make sure that, when they land on the page, there's something there to keep them engaged, whether it be a video, images, or it could be a quick call to action or encouraging them to take advantage of an offer. That sort of stuff is what's going to sell your visitor on the services and make sure they don't leave without contacting you. The second one that we've really seen is with link building. Too many irrelevant and low quality links pointed back your website could actually hurt you and really just crush your chances of ranking. We've seen a bunch of updates with Google here in the last, even in the last week, we had one of the biggest updates that we've seen in a while. It used to be all about links. when it comes to ranking in Google. And it's still true. Link building is still a huge factor. But this recent Penguin update, and then there's this even more recent one that we didn't even get a chance to put in the presentation because I think it was about a week ago that it happened. Now it's all about quality and the relevant link and relevance of the links. So how high quality are they? Are they actually relevant to the roofing business? So that's all stuff to consider when it comes to link building these days in 2019. You're really going to want to have someone, and I don't want to get too technical on this, but you really want to have someone reviewing your link profile, so the links that are actually coming into your website on a regular basis. We typically do it on a monthly basis. We need to go through the link profile, make sure that all the links are quality, they're relevant. If there's anything that's very spammy or you just see something that's not right, we remove those links and disavow them. And you can use a tool called Search Console to actually do that. So it's just something to consider to make sure that you're always doing that link analysis on your website. And then lastly, again, I don't want to get too technical on this, but anchor text, you need to make sure that you're diversifying your anchor text. So anchor text is essentially the words that maybe another website might use to link to your actual website. A lot of people used to, and this was a few years back, that used to just pound other websites with links that say you're a roofer in Chicago. They would have anchor text with a link to your website that says Chicago roofer. And they do this, 25, 50, 100 times. It used to work really well and you could get ranked really easily, but it's 2019. You will get hammered by Google if you do stuff like that. So that's, again, where we like to go in and remove any of those bad anchor text or bad links. And that's going to help you regain that trust in Google's eyes. And the third point here, you need a real physical office to rank well in Google Maps. Google Maps had a recent update called the Pigeon update. And primarily what it addressed is, it took a major toll on people in the map listings that were using multiple fake addresses. So you might see in some of your search results, sometimes you might see people that just create spammy listings and they use fake addresses to do this. They use like UPS stores, PO boxes, virtual offices. Some people are still getting away with this stuff, but I've seen multiple businesses to get crushed because they were using those virtual offices, and Google wiped those out on the Google Maps. So make sure that you have an actual office in the city that you want to rank in. Other people were using their home addresses and had like their business address hidden on Google My Business, which you can still do. I see a lot of people do it, but it's definitely going to hurt your chances of ranking in that top 3 in the map pack. So again, you need a real physical business address. And ideally, even if you have that physical business address, you got to make sure you're showing that address on Google My Business. There is an option to hide it just to show your service area. You can do that, but it's going to hurt your chances, again, of ranking in Google Maps. Make sure you're showing your physical address on Google Maps. Before I even go into this, anyone got any questions before I even go to kind of the next steps here in terms of the SEO formula? I don't know, Jim, if you want to take a look at the...
Yeah, I'll check the questions here. No questions yet. So if anyone does have a question, Dave, Jim, Josh, Peter, Dan, anyone have a question, just type it on in the box and we'll get that answered for you.
Perfect. All right, so what else has changed here? Old-fashioned SEO, as we know it, doesn't work. Just worrying about keywords on the page, just building, crappy backlinks like PBNs, private blog networks, stuff like that, just doesn't work anymore. Google's smart. We're in 2019. We have artificial intelligence and crazy technology. They're not going to be fooled. So the biggest thing that we're seeing now in the post-Panda, Pigeon, Penguin era, it's all about user experience optimization. So the new SEO approach really is going to require a heavy focus on what the user is actually doing in search results and on the page. And this is all related to kind of that technical on-site optimization. We'll get into that, but user experience is really the next big thing from 2019 forward that we're going to see. So what are the new ranking factors for 2019? CTR is going to be a key ranking factor, and we've already noticed this. CTR stands for click-through rate. So click-through rate is essentially when someone types in Denver roofers into search results and say they scroll down and then they click on maybe that first map listing, that's considered a click-through to your website. Google pays attention to that. They know how many times each one is clicked, and if they notice that certain results are being clicked more than others, that's going to affect your rankings. And there's a number of things you can do to help to get that click-through rate up. And then the second one is going to be that scroll rate and the time on page. It's essential. So once people actually click through to your website and they land on your website, what are they doing on your website? Are they scrolling down once they get to your homepage or your website? Or are they bouncing? And bounce rate is something to watch very closely too. You can actually see your bounce rates on your page if you have Google Analytics set up. Bounce rate is essentially, a bounce is when someone comes to your page and doesn't do anything on it and then clicks the back button and goes back to search results. That's what a bounce would be. So make sure you're watching that. If people aren't interacting on your site, it's going to hurt your search result rankings. And then branding is huge. I can't stress this enough. Google is all about brands here, especially in the last year. So you need to build your brand, and you might have a brand. When I say brand, I mean your online brand, not your offline brand. So, if you're big off the internet, that's great. But when it comes to getting ranked in Google, you need to have a big brand, or at least appear to have a big brand on the actual internet. So, and that means, making sure you're mentioned in all these, local news, and you have links from big authoritative sites, stuff like that. Your brand is kind of mentioned everywhere, and that's going to be a huge thing moving forward. And we're already seeing it with a lot of the search results, that those kind of the big brands, the big mentions online are the ones that are really getting those good rankings on Google.
Hey, Brian, we do have one question from Dave. Dave said, what is a good bounce rate?
Good bounce rate? I would say a good bounce rate is going to be anything like under 70% is going to be a really good bounce rate. I mean, typically you might see even like 80 to 90%, but if you're under 70, 65% for bounce rate, that's really good, because there's a lot of people that just come to the page and bounce, and it happens all the time. But so if 70%, that's the rate I would look for in Google Analytics. And obviously it's going to depend on the competition in your area too, but that I would use that as kind of a metric to look at. Anything else there?
Nope, that's it.
Cool. Number of citations, reviews, relevant links, we'll get into that, but that is a huge ranking factor, and it always has been. Now more, probably the same as ever, but the quality has kind of been tuned up in Google. All right. Oop. What happened there? Sorry about that. New SEO formula. Oh, I got the little pointer now. Very cool, I guess. The new SEO formula. So what is the new SEO formula for 2019? What are actually people typing in when they search? So when people type in keywords, we need to figure out what those keywords are. Figure out what the most important keywords are based on your services, your service area, and your actual market, the search volume. And we've really established there's 3 different types of intent when it comes to keywords. We call them awareness, so awareness keywords, research and comparison keywords, and then buying intent keywords. So informational awareness keyword would be like roof replacement. What's the cost of a roof replacement? That is going to be, people that are just searching around. They're not really sure if they're buying, or we may not even be sure if they're buying, but they're looking for stuff like informational type queries like that. The second type of keyword would be, research and comparison. So people are going to Google, find the best roofing company near me, roofing companies in this area. That's going to be research and comparison. Those are the keywords that we really want to target, because those are the ones that are going to help you get found. And then the actual buying keywords are going to be your actual roofing company plus reviews, or Bob's Roofing reviews, because then they're ready to go. They know who you are, but they're going to actually search the web for, reviews of your companies, and that's where the reputation of your company comes into play. And you can use a number of tools to find these keywords. The Google Keyword Tool and Google AdWords. That's one of the best places that we use. SEMrush is some software, SpyFu. We use all of these to find the best keywords for your local area that can help with that sort of thing. And then when it comes to the keywords, you need to set up that great website with each one of those individual pages targeting those specific keywords. So you should have a page for every service, city, neighborhood. Optimize your website for user experience. Make it easy to navigate. You got to have those call to actions everywhere on the website. If your phone number is not at the top of your website on the desktop, and then on mobile, you should have that maybe like a call now button at the bottom that's always visible while you're scrolling. That's a huge user experience thing. It allows them to easily contact you without having to scroll around and get in the menu and figure out where to go. So that's obviously, we talked about that earlier, but it's a huge factor right now for SEO. Optimize your site for on-site optimization, which is everything that's technical on the site, proper keyword usage, content, image alt tags, internal linking throughout the website, and then building your authority off the site. So for off-site optimization, that's going to be links and brand mentions and citations. And then finally, tracking all of your results, making sure you have, not only your rank tracking set up so you can track how your SEO is doing with your keyword improvements, but also you should have call tracking set up for both your organic search, so when people land on the website, for call tracking, and you should also have a call tracking set up for your Google My Business to see how many people are actually calling from your actual Google My Business listing. And speaking of keywords on that prior slide, we actually have a great list of keywords that you can kind of take a look at. It's on our website at roofermarketers.com/roofing keywords. But this is just an example. We have, all these different types of keywords here. Your city plus roofing companies, roofing contractors, the residential, commercial, asphalt, shingle, all sorts of stuff there. Those are the big ones that we're seeing used. And then that second column, you see add-ons, near me, in my area, family owned, all that sort of stuff is going to be big. One of them slipped in there. I don't know how that got in there, but using those add-ons to like the roofing companies. So roofing companies in my area, family owned roofing companies, financing, warranty, all sort of stuff, attaching that to the initial keywords is a huge thing. And that's what people really search. And those are the ones that really kind of convert the best. So go ahead and go to roofermarketers.com/roofing keywords. We got like about 150 of them on there that we see that are the most common. All right, so moving on to on-site optimization. Jim, was there, before I even go into this, any other questions there that we can answer?
None right now, but again, if anyone has any questions, drop them in the chat, drop them in the questions and answers, and we'll get them answered for you.
Perfect. All right, so let's move on to the on-site optimization part of the SEO formula. So we've got the website, right? We need to focus on user experience and content. So we got the strong website with good content, user experience. How do we do that? We leverage multimedia to improve the on-page time. And I mentioned this earlier, having all sorts of multimedia on your pages is what's going to keep people on the page. One thing that we really like to encourage our clients to do is to have videos. Videos are the biggest way to work. They work the best for engagement. Whether it be a video of like a drone flyover of your crews working on a roof, that seems to really engage people. Those are pretty cool videos. There's also the video of just about your team, talking about your company, anything like that. That's going to keep people on the page. That's going to improve those user metrics. Google's going to see that. It's going to lower your bounce rate. So get those videos on the page. Keep them high up on the page so people don't have to scroll to see them. Imagery helps well. And when I say imagery, I say images that are not stock looking. So a lot of people like to use these stock, images that are just, it looks like you just pulled them from Google Images or whatnot. That stuff is really not going to engage the user. People want to feel like they actually know you. They want that trust factor. So if you have these stock images all over your site, you're going to lose them. I would much rather see you guys create, get like some professional images taken of, of you, of your team, of your trucks, anything like that, that you can put on your website that really kind of conveys that personal trust factor to the people that are visiting your website. So just take note of that. I would highly recommend not using stock images. And then again, have pages for each of your services. I talked about this earlier. Be as granular as possible. Pages for cities and neighborhoods that you serve. And make sure your content is optimized on each of your pages. So you should have the main keywords in your title and your header one on your page. So your title is going to be the thing that pops up in search results. That's the most important factor to tell Google what your page is about. You should have your main keyword in there, roofing contractors in Denver, Colorado, et cetera, et cetera. And then your header one on your page should again use a variation of that keyword. So we want to use, and again, you want to keep this for the user. So make sure you're not just putting roofing Denver as the main title on your page. For, it's great for SEO. It might seem like it, but it's really not going to help you. It's going to hurt your user engagement. What we like to do is use something more like the premier Denver roofers you can trust, or something like that. That's going to really, help people to convey that trust factor. And also it still incorporates those keywords of that Denver roofers in there. It's just not as like blatantly built just for search engines. And then use those relevant keywords throughout your content on that page. There's a bunch of typically you're going to have a bunch of headers on your page. So don't just use roofers or roofer contractors. You could do roofing services, roofing experts. Use that across the page, and then it can help you rank for all of those other keywords that people are typing in to the search results. The other big thing that we're seeing that helps with CTR, or that click-through rate, is going to be the meta description. So making sure that your meta description, which is if you go to search results, you type in Denver roofers, typically you're going to see that title. So it says Denver roofers, your roofing company, and then underneath that, it's going to have your meta description, which is going to be the description of the services on that page. Make sure that meta description is written in a way that's really going to drive clicks. So, don't just put something bland right there. We like to use numbers. So, number one, or you could use like an offer, get, $1,500 off, or, 250 plus 5-star reviews. Use stuff like that. That's really going to stand out on the page. It's going to catch people's eye and get them to click. That's going to help you a lot with click-through rate. And that click-through rate, as I mentioned earlier, is going to help with your SEO rankings. Always make sure you got that name, address, phone number in the footer. We use something called schema to ingrain it into across the website, and it's a specific type of scripting that tells the search results, or it tells Google and other search engines what type of company you are, the services that you provide, and where you're located. That's something that's easy to install. And then lastly, with on-site optimization, you should always be actively updating your website with new content. A lot of people talk about blogging. Blogging is great, but you got to have a purpose behind it. Some people just blog every single day, or they'll write like 100-word article and post it on their blog. That's not going to help you. You need something that's going to be quality. So we typically like to make sure that the websites that we work on are updated on maybe every 2 weeks or every month with like a new blog post. And that blog post is typically going to be, it's going to be something helpful. So it's going to answer a search question. Does homeowners insurance cover damage from a hurricane, stuff like that? And then we'll do a whole blog post about that. That's just an informative, and it's related to the topic of maybe what you sell. And then you could also have videos on there, but just make sure you're keeping that blog active. Google likes to see that you're active and that your website's regularly being updated.
We have another question, and it was maybe in regards to the time on site and helping with the time on site. And Dave, you can clarify if I'm off on that. But Dave asked, does live chat help?
Definitely. Live chat is a good one. That's going to keep people on the site for sure. So if you're using live chat, I'd highly recommend it. If you don't use it, that's fine too. But, it's another user metric. People these days, they like to text. They like the chat on the site. They prefer that over calling. We see that more and more. So yeah, if you have live chat, definitely use it. Just make sure though, that your website isn't getting bogged down with like speed from live chat. It just depends on what live chat service you're using. Most of them are pretty good, but we've seen issues with installing that, and it really slows down the website, and that can have a negative effect. But if it's loading in a good time and you have that live chat on there, yeah, definitely encourage using that. Good to go on that?
Yep.
All right, we'll go into a live example here. This is a client of ours, Prominent Construction. They've been doing real well with SEO, ranking for all sorts of stuff. They come up in the maps for a lot of different stuff around the Twin Cities here. And I'll just kind of head over to their website quick and just kind of give you an idea, talking about on-site optimization. Never mind the video here. It looks a little choppy because it's on the webinar, but if you go to the actual website, it's not like that. The trusted Twin Cities roofing contractor, as I stated before, it's highlighting Twin Cities roofing contractor, but we also kind of put it into a sentence that looks good. You got all the trust symbols here, BBB, 5-star reviews, Owens Corning preferred, Home Advisor top rated. And then you can see how we kind of ingrain all of the keywords across the website. So, a premier residential roofer. And then we kind of use, these are actually header 3s that they throw in here, but it uses all of those add-on keywords that I threw up there before in that keywords list. So experienced, licensed, best in the industry, warranties, affordable. It kind of hits on all of these, and you'll see this across the site. We like to use this in a way that's really going to help them rank for those long-term, those long-tail type keywords. And those are really the money keywords where you tend to get a lot of conversions, a lot of leads out of that. Just go back here. The next slide. And I showed this before. This was June of 2018. And it was very common across the summer for them last year. I had around 247 calls, a majority of them going to that Google Organic, Google My Business. So again, SEO does work. The Google ads do work too, but when you got your SEO dialed in, it's really going to help you get, a lot more calls. Go in here. I'll show you one more example here. Our client of ours, Alabama Discount Roofing. This was their site. We literally did a good amount of on-site optimization, which was, like I mentioned before, it's going to be internal linking. It's going to be messing with those headers and redoing the content, alt tags, stuff like that. You can just see the major increases in their rankings. They push into the map pack for a majority of roofing contractor terms in their area, in their city, in the state. Really crushing it with on-site SEO and getting ranked in that map pack. And again, just to break it down by call source, you can just see how effective SEO is. Calls by source, Google My Business, Google Organic. And you're getting 68% of the calls that they got are from that organic search. It's just, again, it's a huge, when it's working for you, you can crush leads with SEO. And I bring this other statistic in here, average call duration by source, just to show you the quality of the lead typically from SEO is usually a lot better. It converts better, and it's usually people that are already sold on your product or on your service. So, they really want to, it's really just going to help you with that SEO calls. It does help with the conversion aspect. Again, paid ads are great. It just takes a little bit more nurturing, and, the SEO leads are typically we found to be better. All right. So before I even move on to off-page SEO, do we have questions on the on-page stuff? Anything that we can answer here?
Josh asked, what time frame did they receive those number of leads?
The
prominent one, that was 1 month.
Prominent, yeah, it was 1 month.
1 month.
The Alabama discount roofing, that was this year so far.
Okay.
This year. And the Prominent one, that was June 2018. That was their busiest month. They're getting around 200 to 250 calls per month during the summer. Obviously, we're in Minnesota here, so it gets pretty cold during the winter. There's not much happening. All right, so let's move on to off-page SEO. So off-page SEO, we talked about on-page optimization. That's half the battle. A lot of people like to say that off-page is like 80% of the battle. I've heard that many times. I don't know if I would go that far. I think because of the links kind of getting downgraded in the algorithm over the last year or so, I would think it's about 50-50. So it's 50% on-page, 50% off-page that's going to help you get ranked in Google. Building your authority, off-page SEO is the biggest part. So first things first, you need to claim and you need to optimize your Google My Business. Most of you are doing this. However, we run into, Jim, you've seen it over and over. We see a lot of contractors that just haven't even claimed their Google My Business listing, which our whole system revolves around the Google My Business listing. So make sure you're going to get that claimed. You can go to google.com/business if you haven't done that. It's literally just having them send you a postcard and you verifying your office space or wherever your business is located. And then you just got to fill it out to 100%. Get your service areas in there, photos, videos, logos, name, their hours, everything you can in there to make sure it's filled out to 100%. Make sure you're getting reviews. So reviews are important, but make sure you're regularly responding to those reviews in the Google My Business dashboard. That helps. We've seen this help with Google Maps rankings. Make sure that you're actually responding. So don't just respond to the positive ones, respond to negative reviews too. It's going to help you not only with Google, but other users see that you're active on your page. And then Google also has something called Google Posts. They just released this in the last year or so. We are actually seeing this also help with Google Maps rankings. And again, we'll get into this on a different webinar where we really go into Google Maps. That'll be in a month or two. We'll go into that webinar, but make sure you're posting regularly on Google Posts within Google My Business. And it's just kind of a quick what's happening with your business or offers, stuff like that. All right, so lots of high quality business citations across the world when we're talking about building a brand. So that's getting listed in all these directories. You've probably heard this a million times, but you need to be listed in all those major directories. That tells Google that you're a major brand. So there's hundreds of them out there. It's not always necessarily the more the better, but definitely get us listed in as many as at least your competitors are and more. Make sure that your name, address, and phone number is correct across those as well. And then building up your online reviews, your online reputation, leveraging the best-in-class tools. We use a tool called grade.us. It tends to work really well. It allows to automate to get reviews on your Google My Business or Facebook or wherever you want to get reviews. There's Bird Eye, Review Buzz, Podium, stuff like that. So that's just another easy way to get reviews. And then lastly, build authoritative and relevant links back to your website from other websites. Links are still the #1 ranking factor in Google, so make sure you're doing that.
So another question, like Home Advisor, Yelp, etc.
Exactly. Yep. Home Advisor, Yelp. Make sure you're listed there. You can still get a free listing on those places. A lot of times, Home Advisor and Yelp, I'm sure, are calling you guys nonstop to get your business in the paid section. I'm not going to say whether or not you should do that, but you can get a free listing on there. Make sure you are listed on there because those are major directories. Anything else?
Nope.
Yeah. All right. So the secret to getting ranked in the Google Maps 3-pack. We're not gonna dive in real deep here because I mentioned this earlier. We're gonna dive in on a separate webinar just for Google Maps. We'll go into all sorts of stuff on that. But in terms of getting ranked in the Google Maps 3-pack, it is still 3 common threads that we see over and over again. It's going to be getting that Google My Business optimized 100%, 110%. Make sure everything revolves around your Google My Business. getting listed in all of the major citation directories, and all the social media directories, every search engine, Google, Bing. Another one people don't think about is Apple. And so a lot of people have iPhones. Apple Maps, that is a separate search altogether. So make sure you're listed in Apple Maps. So you can go to I think it's apple.connect.com to get yourself listed there. And then again, reviews. Those are so big and make sure they're Google reviews. It helps to get reviews everywhere, but getting reviews on Google My Business is definitely a huge factor, and it's definitely a ranking factor. All right. So how do you build up good relevant links to help you get ranked in Google search? Well, many people kind of have this warped view of link building, I feel like, and it's still kind of that way. And because of 10 years ago, people used to build up a lot of spammy links. People still use them, but they're not as effective today. Private blog networks, stuff like that. It's just not, especially for local search, it's not really what's working. You just need to think of kind of what's right in front of you. Look at that low-hanging fruit for links. Those are the links that we're seeing that are really driving your rankings in both Google Maps and organic search. Think of local groups. So you're talking roofing associations, National Roofing Contractor Association. There's a lot, Midwest Roofing Contractors Association, stuff like that. You can get listed in their directories. You got your social media, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. If you're part of the Chamber of Commerce, that is a huge local link that you can get. And I know oftentimes you got to pay for it, but it's totally worth it in our opinion. You can get mentioned in local news articles, blogs of other websites. If you support local charities, typically you can get a link from them, all sorts of stuff like that. Another good one is local companies in your area. Say you provide a partner type service with another company, or you've partnered with another company and you can get listed on their website as a reference to use. Maybe you offer a service that they don't. That's a good way to get some links as well. Just clicking is sometimes takes forever. Another one that we like to use, and there's a lot of ways to build links, but competitive link acquisition is one of the ways that we do it, and it seems to be one of the most powerful ways to do it. Google likes for you to get links from stuff that's already ranking. So what we do is we like to go into the search results and type in, if you're a roofing contractor in Denver, and we type in your city or Denver roofing contractor, and we look at kind of those first 1 or 2 pages, and we'll do this for a bunch of different keywords. So roofing contractor, companies, and then the individual services. And then we'll work to get links from websites that are actually ranking on those first 2 pages of Google, because that's what Google loves. They love to see that you're local and you're part of that. If you're listed on one of these sites that's already ranking, it's a powerful thing for Google to see. So it's definitely not a push button thing. It's not something you just do. It's not easy to do, but once you do get these types of links, they're super effective and they're super powerful. So you combine this with getting that low hanging fruit, like I talked about before, you're going to be at the top of search results in no time. So it's just kind of a combo of the both, putting some work into it. And just to kind of look at this one, so what do these results have in common? This is kind of reiterating on what we just talked about. All these results have claimed and verified Google Map listings on Google My Business. They have lots of reviews. They have that keyword in the title tag. You're even going to see it down here in these organic search results. Yelp and Home Advisor is using that too. And then a lot of these have those citations with that consistent reference of the brand, the name, address, and the phone number, and that solid link profile across the web. So as kind of a recap of the new SEO formula of what we're seeing that's really working, set up a great website with your pages for each of your services, and I'm talking each of your services, so get super granular with it, and have good content written for those services. And then make sure you're hitting every single one of those cities and those neighborhoods that you're serving. If you can write a page about that city and service, combine it together, roofing in this neighborhood, and then talk about all your services, and have some reviews from that area. some images that can help immensely. It can help you get ranked in those organic search results. Get your keyword and your geo modifier city in the title and the headers of each page. Make sure it's listed. You got to tell Google what you're trying to rank for, but don't be spammy about it. Use different variations of those keywords. Go back to that keywords list that we provided you with. Use roofing contractors, roofing services, use all that sort of stuff, and then combine your city and weave it in there. So it's still readable from a user perspective, but it still helps with your SEO. Quality, well-written, unique content on every single page. Don't skimp on the quality, and don't skimp on the amount of content either. Don't do 100-word pages. It's not going to help with Google. It's not going to help you with your rankings. Write a good quality piece of content for every page. And then again, going back to that user experience, leverage multimedia to enhance the time on page, reduce that bounce rate. It's going to help you with your search results rankings. I guarantee it. It's only going to help moving forward too. So make sure that you're putting those videos, those images of your team, anything you can to keep people on the page and make sure they're contacting you and not going back to the search results. Online reviews, get that reputation up. Use that software I mentioned. It works really well. It can get you lots of reviews fast. Build that citations consistency across the web. Get listed in all of the major citations, all the major search engines. Make sure your brand is seen consistently across the web. And then again, remember to post that updated relevant blog content on an ongoing basis. I'm talking, every couple weeks or every month. Get a piece of content written, put it on your blog. It could be about your company itself. It could be about answering common questions about some roofing services that you provide, anything like that. Just keep your blog active. Google loves that stuff. And then again, going back to building links and authority, be creative. Local links are great and relevant links are great. So keep those two words in mind. Make sure they're local links. So Chamber of Commerce, stuff like that. Anything that's local related to your city that helps you rank in the maps. And then make sure that you have the authoritative links too. So it could be powerful blogs that you're getting links from. Could be local. It could be news sites, stuff like that. Anything that propels that authority to Google. And then lastly, leverage paid search to identify high converting keywords. We do this all the time. I'm sure a lot of you are running paid search. And again, we recommend paid search. It's part of our system. It helps you get leads fast. But you can really kind of get an idea of which keywords, when you're running pay per click, are actually converting the best. And you can use that for your SEO. So go back through, if you're running ads right now, go to your Google AdWords account, check out, what people are actually searching. See which ones are converting the best. You can typically, if you have conversion tracking set up right, you can see which keywords are typically getting you the most leads, and make sure you weave those keywords into your content on the pages that you want to rank.
All right. So if there's any other questions, we'll be happy to answer them at this time. Outside of that, the mission of our company is to help roofing contractors build their authority online, build their brand online, and generate more business. And we do that through two different avenues. One is through this educational piece like we're doing now with this webinar. And then through the other is our digital marketing agency, where we actually perform the work for people. So, if you guys want more information, more specifically to your company, I'd like to offer you a free review, free SEO review. We could get on the phone. I'll do an analysis of your current online visibility, kind of do a custom keyword list for your business, do a ranking report, kind of see where you're at online right now, and an analysis of your online directory listings, where you're at, how well you've done, performed your name address, put your name address and phone number out there across the internet. An analysis of your online reviews and reputation, an analysis of your social presence, and an analysis of your website conversion effectiveness, making sure that the copy on your website is not just written to rank, but it's also written to convert those visitors into phone calls. So if we don't have any more questions here, we'll kind of wrap it up. We only work with one company per service area, and I actually know that there's a couple of people on the webinar today that we weren't able to work with, but again, this is part of our mission, is to provide you with this education. But if you'd like to get on a call with us, please schedule it, roofermarketers.com/apply, and we'd be happy to help you out. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.